Meeting, and we usually start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Present today, Mr. Schulte. Here. Mr. DeBoer. Here. I am here. First item on the agenda is consideration of today's agenda. Do we want to approve that agenda?
Any changes or anything?
I don't have any.
Motion to approve the agenda.
I'll support that.
I have a motion and support to approve today's agenda as it has been presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Next item would be the minutes from our most recent meeting, April 13th, 2024.
I can move that because I think my name was on every one of them.
You should be familiar with it. Motion by Schulte for approval of the minutes.
Second it.
Support from DeBoer. For the discussion on the minutes from April 13. Hearing none, all in favor of their approval signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Next item is the May schedule.
So I got a request from Cole, the engineer over in Dickinson County, and there's 4 joint drainage ditches that they want to do some spraying into. So they want to have a joint meeting with our board by conference call, and the May 7th works for them better than the 14th. So the board could either meet the 7th and the 21st in May, or we can meet the 7th, 14th, and 28th. But the 28th, though, is the day after Memorial Day, so I don't know what the board chooses to do there.
We can get by with the 7th and the 21st.
Yeah.
Okay.
That works for claims.
Well, yeah, the 14th, I mean, it's a little late, so the 7th would be fine, and the 21st, we should be fine. But it's up to the board what they want to do.
It's your turn, Leroy.
I'd be in favor of 7th, 14th, and 28th, but you said 28th is what we want.
7th
Yeah.
and the 21st. I'll make that motion.
Motion from DeBoer for 7th and the 21st in May.
I'll support.
Support from Schulte. So I would personally prefer to continue with the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays and just adding one, but that being said, any further discussion? All those in favor signify with aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Aye.
And if we want, we can always call another meeting. That's not a...
We can.
Sure.
Just make sure you don't call
I
it.
don't know if this action will stand, but that's neither here nor there. We have on the agenda, prior to 8:58, consideration of ordinance number 64, amended right-of-way. You have something to share with us?
I have nothing new from the last meeting. We had a lot of discussion at the previous meeting. This will be the second reading. I was not directed to make any changes at the last meeting.
Okay.
So that's here again. Speak again. Or I don't know if they want to wish to speak again.
How would the board like to proceed? It's not a public hearing, it's just our considering action on an ordinance we held a public hearing on. Do we want to receive comment?
That's up to you.
Anything further? Did you see the copy of the minutes when you spoke at the public hearing? Was that sufficient to?
I have one more thing to add. Well,
Sure.
we stayed pretty strictly on technical 2 weeks ago, talking about safety versus risk. Just wanted to also mention, it didn't come up, the railroads do not define our safety factors. They have no right in that. The Iowa DOT does not define our safety factors. They have no right in that. The Iowa Utilities Board cannot define our safety factors because safety is the sole control of the federal government for hazardous liquid pipelines, interstate hazardous liquid pipelines. They have the railroads, the DOT, the Iowa Utilities Board, the counties have all rights to check our design standards, make sure we followed federal regulation, but under the Pipeline Safety Act, which has been out since 2001, safety is 100% on the federal government, fully preempted. You can't exceed the federal government, you can't change the federal government rules. So as much as it's more important to talk about that adding safety factors doesn't necessarily add safety, it is also very preempted without debate by the federal government, who sets the design safety standards.
Further comments?
I guess worth noting that's only to the one line, the safety factor line of ordinance, and no other concern.
Well, I will ask the board what their preference is here. I will again state, I think we should have taken action at the previous meeting. What would you like to do here today?
I would make a motion to approve the second consideration for ordinance 64.
Is there support for that second, for approval?
I'll support that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Schulte, how do you vote on the motion?
Aye.
Mr. DeBoer, how do you vote?
Aye.
And I will abstain. We also have on the agenda consideration for approval of waiving the third consideration of ordinance number 64, amended right of way.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Any further discussion? Mr. Schulte, how do you vote on approving of the waiving of the third reading and final passage?
Aye.
Mr. DeBoer?
Aye.
I will abstain. Okay. Next item is World War I monument relocation suggestions. Any updates?
I talked to all the, like Eugene, Melvin, Sibley, and Ashton. I talked to all the commanders and had them bring it to their group. And Sibley don't care what you do, but Ashton, Eugene, and Melvin suggest what they like to see done is move it 30 yards west, like where that Civil War one is, move it 30 yards so they're even across from each other. They don't want it over there. They want to keep it by, because that monument's more modern, where the Civil War is out front, and by just bringing it up and kind of make it even is what the units all suggested to me to bring up.
Sounds good to me. 'Cause I'm sure they'll take pretty good care as they move it.
Well, and then you won't have to move it as far.
Yeah.
You know, the main thing is they like to see them like line up with the Civil War Memorial out there
Okay.
is what the comeback I got from everybody.
They would refer it to the west of that current monument? Basically
Yeah.
going straight south with it rather than east?
Right.
I guess my concern with that is I recall, I'm trying to see on Beacon here, I think we have an evergreen to the east that likely is questionable, or the lifespan is questionable anyway, so removing that tree and having it to the east might make, or no, it's to the west, isn't it? The evergreen's west, I'm sorry. The other side has a
Yeah, we got
different
two
kind of tree.
trees. Is it kind of between those two trees? Is that where they kind of want
It's
it?
close to that evergreen. I mean, whatever way, this is just what they kind of they kind of would like, because you guys were talking over on the east side, right?
Yeah, we were thinking about that.
Yeah. Well, they want it being, that's the oldest one, well, after the Civil War one, then it's that one, and then it's the other one. And that way they would kind of be in a line. And if you don't do 30 yards,
Yeah.
you know, I don't think anybody's gonna go out there with the, I sure in the heck ain't gonna. But that way, they're all up in front.
Yeah, I'm not arguing, but yeah, and one concern was keeping it over there then is if you're visiting the memorial, the jail is in the background, and less attractive than looking at the front of the courthouse or
Yeah.
being over where
Well,
there'd be a.
that jail's gonna wreck the whole deal of the courthouse anyway, sorry to tell you that, but. I mean, you know, you look at that picture I gave you, how nice that picture looked.
Mhm.
And you put that jail up there, all we're gonna see is, I mean, you're not gonna get around it the way it's going, but
Yeah,
it's
that's
on the
where
other
the,
side. How it looks. Yeah, see? So,
and I'd had a conversation with Buffy. I had a classmate, and I brought it up before, that had some concerns with the way the newer memorial lists years of service and things like that, and was hoping to possibly see some corrections or some additions. And I wondered if we couldn't make kind of a whole memorial area to the east if this one moves over there. I don't dispute your styling and age of it not being similar. But, okay. I appreciate the information, just sharing my thoughts.
I got a hold of everybody after you guys, once we knew about it. You know, and this is what the input I got, so.
Okay.
So I guess you'll do what you do. You can have a little lot to say about it.
Yeah, it wouldn't bother me to see it over there.
Huh?
It wouldn't bother me to see it over there.
I think that would be a pretty good places, you know, and if you gotta go a little, you don't wanna take that tree down, so be it, if it's close, I mean,
Yeah.
just the main thing is keeping it in line, you know what I'm saying? Straight across from each other. If we're moving it, then look the best. That's what the guys gave me,
We can pass that on.
so. If you need anything else, let me know and I'll,
Did you leave that information, who you spoke with at the auditor's office there, or you mind if I reach out to them too, or?
no, I don't care who you talk, I just talked to all the units.
Okay.
Bobby Baker was one of them, Craig Swanson was one. and I'm the one from Ashton, and Gary Hamill was from Sibley. Is who I talked to that gave me these, how to come up with this.
Okay.
So I don't, yeah, if you want to talk to him, I don't care.
Anything further, gentlemen?
Okay,
Thank you.
yep. Lenny, you betcha.
8:58 has come and gone, sorry. We will look at the approved resolution number 2324 compensation schedule for elected officials for fiscal year 24-25. It's prepared and before us. Any interest in acting on that, gentlemen? Interest in seeing its consideration? I would take a motion.
We talked enough about it the first time around, so I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Resolution 33, a motion for its approval. Mr. Schulte, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. DeBoer, how do you vote?
Aye.
And I vote aye. 9 o'clock, we have a public hearing for fiscal year 24-25 county budgets. On the public hearing, we can consider resolution 34. Have we received anything in writing for the public hearing?
Nothing.
No written comments. Is anyone present would like to make comments or speak to the county proposed budget? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. To consider approval of resolution 34.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 34.
I'll second it.
Well, again, state that I think we could have made some further transfers from supplemental to the general fund. I know our auditor would not love the additional work of last minute changes, but I still stand by wishing to see that having been done to a bigger level. So with that, I will ask, how do you vote, Mr. Schulte?
Aye.
How do you vote, Mr. DeBoer?
Aye.
And I will vote no. Passes. Then we move back up to the untimed items, and we have consideration or awarding the secondary roads fuel bill. Mr. Brand has provided us the received information. In an analysis, do you have a recommendation? I saw that on the previous package.
My previous recommendation that I had given was to award the bid to New Century FS based on the margin prices. You had brought to my attention that there was, that the county is a member of a co-op with patronage dividends. I did look into the patronage dividends. It's not a guaranteed amount, and it can vary from year to year. It has varied anywhere from $700 up to as high as $4,000 a year that we've gotten back. And that's based on all purchases that we make through co-op, which also includes tires that we've purchased through them over the years. So whenever you do look at the patronage dividend aspect, the bids are extremely close, if not slightly in the favor of co-op, maybe depending on what could happen. Also, the bid as quoted was for 145,000 gallons. Historically, we have not come close to that. The closest we've come is 2 years ago, whenever we had the heavy winter and we had a lot of snow plowing, and we spent a lot on fuel that year. We spent approximately 300,000 or so in fuel. So if you were to take it back to our historical averages, then this difference between the two bids becomes even closer. So because of the margin aspect and the patronage dividend, I removed the recommendation at this point. It's pretty much up in the air. Historically, co-op has the current contract. We've had no issues with co-op. New Century FS, we haven't used them in a while, if we've used them ever. They do have a comparable fuel. Their blended fuel is a premium diesel, as is the one sold by co-op. They're different brands of premium diesel, but they both meet the specification that was part of the solicitation. I know we have both co-op and Century FS here. I'm sure they would like to make statements as well.
Would you like to receive statements? Give each of you an opportunity to share.
Okay, Jason Stauffer with Farm Service. So first and foremost, we appreciate the opportunity to put a bid in for Osceola County. Like the engineer said, yeah, I understand it was close, and reflection to the patronage, that weighs in heavily. Like they said, it's not a guarantee. We don't do patronage to commercial business. We just put the money right up front. Here's what the bid's gonna be. We do believe in technology and to do business locally. So we just appreciate your guys' consideration on this.
My name's Dustin Jones, GM for Cooperative Energy. Just will appreciate you guys' time to also bid on this as well. Just wanted to take a couple other things into consideration. One is that we have had the contract in the past, and I know our shop managers and things like that, the drivers have done a great job of keeping taking good care of you guys in the past there. The other thing is it's pretty easy to kind of look at pricing and stuff like this during the weather when it is the way it is. But when the rubber meets the road, when the snow starts flying, things like that, our guys already know the systems, already know where all those tanks are. And then our bulk plants, where they're positioned, and our trucks can take care of you guys continuously throughout the winter. So that's usually the time where anytime a change or something like that would struggle. In addition to that, we have 25 plus employees that live within the county. And so my biggest thing would be, we as a co-op like to work within, local communities and things like that and make sure we're giving back. We want to make sure that we're, keeping those dollars within the county if possible. So appreciate your time.
May I ask where your bulk plants are?
Yeah, so we have Sibley, Ocheeden. We also have one further north that's outside of the county there in Worthington as well, that, we can feed off of if needed. Those are the closest ones there.
Thank you. Can I ask where your bulk plants are?
Ocheeden and Hartley.
We have one in Harley as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Further questions, gentlemen?
Where are your drivers out of then?
So most of our stuff's coming over west, we get the help out of like the Hartley location. So we would just take monitors and just kind of route it through a distribution network.
So if we were ever to run out of fuel, how long would it take for like a driver to show up to Sibley or to?
On a hypothetical running out, we use the same system as they would on a tank monitor system, so the running out is, is hypothetical.
Okay.
But on the other hand, what it would take from Hartley would be probably an hour response
Okay.
time. I mean, it's,
Within a couple
yeah, I
hours?
mean,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
My only comment, or not only, you know me better than that. I've heard that Clay County was dissatisfied with contract. That does weigh heavily for me. Is there any comments or any information been provided on that, or?
No, I'll respond to that. So yes, to your point, we were awarded Clay County last year. But the challenge I would do is change is hard, there's no doubt, okay? We knew it was gonna be an uphill battle. We had some oversights on our end very early on. The driver was reprimanded, he's no longer employed there, so he's been replaced. We made right by all the amends, but I knew we had a very short leash. If we made any mistakes, then it was gonna be in the broad scope of the thing. The challenge that I would throw back is, we have 15 counties we've been doing business with 10 plus years. So yeah, there's one isolated instance, but I would challenge you that, we would share this list. You can go through that and all these other counties that are around and reach out to those engineers and them supervisors and say, hey, what's your experience been? And not to be based off of just one instance that we had.
Appreciate that. I like it better when it's clear cut, easy decision. I would share that I do value the local presence, the larger local presence of co-op and the historic investment in our community. And I think Grow Edition is fruit from what co-op planted, maybe not directly, but so I do see value to staying with someone we're satisfied with, especially when things are as close as they are. So those are my thoughts. Your guys' comments or action preferred?
I would agree with that.
I would kind of like the tax dollars that they pay. I'd make a motion to go with co-op.
Can I make a comment? What would the price difference have to be to make you not say that?
I'd have to look at what their taxes are. I mean, it's gonna vary to me based on how large of a presence an entity has. I don't know, I can't. I probably should be able to give a straight answer to that, but
Okay.
I think on a case-by-case basis, local is going to
That's better.
weigh heavy for me. I don't know what level it crosses each time.
Yeah, because this is pretty close all the way across the board.
I agree.
We have a motion by Schulte for co-op.
And I support that.
We have support from DeBoer. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion to award co-op the fuel bid, signify with aye.
I-
All those opposed, same sign. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Or change it to vice chair. I think I saw on there, chairman. Okay. Next item on the agenda is consideration or awarding the bid for gravel mining and crushing at Lining's Pits.
This one's clear cut, are you happy?
It's easier. They're not here to look in the eyes.
It was a pretty clear, Hagedorn has done our crushing for years and years. The ultimate bid we had, and we thought it was gonna be more competitive. The other crusher, what they do is they set up a conveyor system. But I guess the amount of conveyor belts and apparatus that they needed to bring up still tipped it ahead. They are also a much larger company with much larger overhead and costs. I think Hagedorn's a very lean company, so it was a pretty clear-cut bid. We save a lot of money by mining our own gravel versus paying retail price. So I would recommend approval of the Hagedorn bid.
With that,
I think I've made every motion so far, so it's somebody else's turn.
And there is nobody. I would make a motion for Keith Hogan Construction.
a motion by DeBoer,
And I'll support that.
support from Schulte to approve the contract with Keith Hagedorn Construction. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Thank you, Mr. Engineer.
I've got a question, Mike. Mike, I've got a question. Would you rather see me go for farm service?
No, my question, why I asked that was, because a couple of years ago, I got bids from Co-op for tires, and they didn't meet government discounts like the others did. And that was a mistake that they had made, because they came and approached me about that. And we did go with the other company, you know, because we're talking like $500 difference for one tire, you know. So that was where I wanted to decide what stays locally and what cost before I go out of town. That's why I asked that.
Yeah.
And in that case, if they miss something that we could or should receive as a discount, then.
Well, I think they actually signed up because I seen what I was doing.
Or
was getting,
they didn't have that yet and
Yes.
needed to get, okay, with
Yeah.
that program.
right, so that, it helped us by going elsewhere on their part,
I guess, yeah.
you know, just something that they made themselves better. That was the only reason why I asked that.
And I appreciate you asking.
Because
Yeah, I do too.
there are gonna be other times where I'm borderline close, you know? And I do like stuff being spent in county, of course,
I do
but
too.
at the same time, there's a budget, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes we also have availability issues on parts and
Yes.
equipment. And sometimes
Yes,
we have-
availability is a big thing too.
And you have to take all that into consideration.
Yeah, so that's why I asked that, so.
No, I'm glad you did.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is consider hiring ISG as drainage district engineer for construction of pipelines, electric transmission lines, or other similar installation on, over, across, or beneath drainage district infrastructure in Osceola County.
Well, last July, the board approved a resolution for, they have to apply for pipelines and stuff, and ISG helped us with this resolution. And we had our first permit from Premier Communications to go into drainage ditch 48 underground. And on the permit, it has, you have to have a drainage district engineer review it. And I talked to Spencer about that. I mean, ISG helped us with this drainage resolution, but I guess the board never talked about who was going to do the services for that or sign that up for that. You know, they know our drainage ditches, and it's no cost to the county. We would pass on the cost to the utility company, ISG Services. So I didn't know if Spencer is on vacation this week, so he couldn't talk. So I was just going to bring it to the board, and you guys can decide if you want to make a decision or if you want to hold off and have Spencer explain it better. But he said we probably only have like maybe 1 or 2 of these a year. But we just need to have it in writing who's going to be our drainage engineer to do the drainage district. And I am not qualified for that, so.
You sure?
Yeah, positive. And neither is Barb. We do not have engineer behind our name, so. So we can do.
You notice I keep my head down when you have that camera. I'm not gonna blind you. I think it'd be good just to stay with them for all of that.
Here's where I add to Rochelle's headache again. I don't disagree. When I saw this, I thought we probably should have open bids or can make it open to other entities to be considered. I absolutely have no issue working with ISG, and I think they would do a good job, but I would like to see us, in a sense, go out for bids, or at least have people submit how they would handle it, and make a selection for all cases in that manner. That being said, with Premier permit in hand, I think it would be good with ISG having worked with us to craft the language to provide the oversight on this instance, and going forward, make an effort to identify who would do that across the board.
I guess the reason I like with ISG is I know the quality of work we'd get. And I like that. Has ISG been pretty good to work with, Keith?
Yeah, I've had no issues with them.
And that means a lot to me to have a decent quality.
I know Ivan was kind of on his way out the door whenever I started here, but Spencer's been great to work with too. Seems like Spencer's kind of moving up in the organization,
I think he is.
and we're with the other guy more often than not, I think.
Well, and Spencer moved away too, so he's fighting Waterloo, so that's why we're gonna get Kyle and,
He's from Sioux Falls, isn't
yeah. And there's another guy from Stone Lake, but Sioux Falls, of course, is closer, so.
And I did have a conversation with Spencer, and I told him this exactly: there's no dissatisfaction with their service, and I have no issue of working with them, but in the public's interest, I think we do need to make sure we know what options are out there, and by saying they do a great job is absolutely true, but that doesn't mean there aren't others that can do a great job as well. So I would hope we would just give permission or approval for the permit in hand and start the process to consider an engineer for this review.
So you thinking about putting an ad in the paper, or what are we talking about here? Or do I have to reach out to other
Absolutely.
engineers, or what's, what do you want, if that's what the board decides to do?
Post to receive bids. I don't know if it would require an ad, because it's not a.
Well, the trouble is the bids, the county don't pay for it. The utility companies do, so it's gonna be
Well,
pretty
with
hard
ISG's
to.
approach, so if we get that in writing and another one says it's just $5 per permit that we're asking from you, well, it's pretty clear. If one's passing it on to the one seeking the permit and the other one's having the county pay for it or the district pay for it, that's a reason to choose one over the other.
Well, I think the resolution says that the utility company has to pay
It is
for
in
it.
there already.
Mhm.
Okay.
Plus, they have to have proof of insurance listing the drainage district as additionally insured, or the board as trustees. So that was in the resolution, I believe, Spencer told me, that we pass it on to the utility company. It's not any different than Keith, and they file a permit, they have to pay the county for their permit, right? They pay a fee.
We don't have an insurance, so we don't full harmless requirement.
Yeah. Whatever the board, I just need to tell me how you want me to proceed, all I need to know.
Well, myself, I'm happy with ISG, but
Yeah, I do.
Then we're probably gonna have to change the resolution too, because the district hereby appoints ISD for drainage matters as designated drainage engineer. I didn't see that part until the last section.
oh, I'd make, yes, I'd make that, yeah.
The district hereby appoints ISG for drainage matters as designated drainage engineer for all established drainage districts and established inter-county drainage district, private drainage facilities, and designated drainage engineer may be changed at any time by the district. The permit holder will notify each such change.
Looks like our decision is done.
Spencer didn't tell me, or I didn't read it, I guess, and Spencer, when I talked to Spencer about that, he said, yeah, your board has to have a further discussion on that, so. I mean, it's not like it can't be done, we just would have to change the resolution.
Well, that to me satisfied, I missed that, I didn't see that in there, so that satisfies my concerns. Do we want a motion identifying ISG
I think it would be better,
as
just,
stated, continuing to work with ISG as stated in the resolution?
I'll make a motion to accept that.
I'll support it.
Motion by DeBoer, support from Schulte to proceed in the same manner as identified in the resolution. Any discussion, further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Alright. Approve fiscal year 23-24 budget amendment public hearing date.
it's gonna have to be on the 21st if we're meeting that day at 9 o'clock, if that works for everybody.
21,
Yep,
at what time? 9?
9.
sounds good to me.
Okay. We have a motion for May 21st at 9 a.m. for a public hearing on a budget amendment.
I'll second it.
Motion by Schulte, support from DeBoer. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. And now, how fast can you write, Rochelle?
I don't know, take it easy on me, guys. We have plenty of time, we have until 10 o'clock, so messed up again. I can never do it right.
We've got to eat cookies too, so
Yeah,
we'll
we
have time
got
for that.
cookies, yeah. We got to celebrate Leroy's birthday today, and
Happy birthday, Leroy, young man.
Yep. That's great. To call me a young man.
So you'll even give them a cookie for that?
All right, the twice a year opportunity to go through the TIF transfers. The first one is the amended ethanol TIF, debt collection fund to amended ethanol TIF P&I fund. Would like to consider resolution 35.
I'll make that motion.
Support it.
Motion by Schulte, support from DeBoer to approve resolution 35. Mr. Schulte, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. DeBoer?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Number 36 is the TIF for Senex Fund to Secondary Road Fund. Number 36.
I'll make a motion for resolution 36.
I'll support it.
More support from Schulte. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. DeBoer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Schulte?
Aye.
And I vote aye. 37 is the TIF for Langstrad Auto Works Fund to amended ethanol TIF P&I.
I'm gonna make a motion for the resolution 37.
I'll support it.
Mr. DeBoer offers a motion for 37, support from Mr. Schulte. Any discussion? On resolution 37, Mr. DeBoer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Schulte?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Next is resolution 38, amended ethanol TIF Loneman Fund to amended ethanol TIF P&I Fund.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Schulte,
I'll support it.
support from DeBoer. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Schulte, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. DeBoer?
Aye.
And I vote aye. 39 is the DAC Land Holdings Fund to amended ethanol TIF P&I Fund.
I'll make a motion for 39.
Support.
DeBoer and support from Schulte for resolution 39. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. DeBoer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Schulte?
Aye.
I vote aye. Too fast, too slow?
nope, we're doing good.
Number 40 is DAC Land Holdings Fund to General Basic Fund.
That is the legal fees that it
is-
was to pay back, for the documents and stuff, changing all that, so.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
And that does not constitute the whole of the legal
No,
fees.
just-
It's
just
what
for that
the
document.
reasonable
Yep.
portion for their
Yep,
portion
and
of
I,
that.
and I deducted that from their, payment, so, yep.
Send it to them. Good, okay, thank you for that clarity. Mr. Schulte, how do you vote on 40?
Aye.
Mr. DeBoer?
Aye.
And I vote aye. 41 is a green and yellow fund to amended ethanol TIF P&I.
I'll make that motion on 41.
I'll support it.
Motion by DeBoer, support from Schulte to approve resolution 41. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Mr. DeBoer,
Aye.
Mr. Schulte,
Aye.
and I vote aye. 42 is rural basic fund to secondary road fund. Well, that's a little different.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Schulte,
Support.
support from DeBoer to approve resolution 42. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Schulte, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. DeBoer?
Aye.
And I vote aye. And to finish off this fund, Resolution 43 is the 2017 CFE Project Fund to the CFE TIF P&I Fund.
I'll make that motion for 43.
Support.
Motion by DeBoer, support from Schulte. Any further discussion on Resolution 43? Hearing none, Mr. DeBoer,
Aye.
Mr. Schulte,
Aye.
and I vote aye. All right.
Well, a lot of these resolutions will go away now because we're paying off that $400,000, so.
At the earliest opportunity, right? Down on projected interest. and
Yeah, we're
costs.
paying it down.
Which means we should find projects to do so that the general fund doesn't see a huge increase in.
Well, we have some legal fees to pay out of this yet. We probably have more in there what we need, but I'm not for sure what the legal fees will be.
Next item would be consideration of claims.
And that Senex tip is almost paid for to the city and to the county, so we got like a couple years left on that.
I didn't see any Bosma claims in here, so I'll make the motion on the claims.
I was hoping there would then, but there wasn't. Oh, I lost numbers. All right, we have a motion by Schulte on the claims,
I'll second that.
support from DeBoer. Any further discussion? Hearing none.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All those in favor of approval of the claims signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Do you have something for Keith, Mike, or?
Yeah. There was a specialty welding. Who is that? Okay. Just curious.
Claim number 2594.
Is that conservation or is that under Keith?
Oh, it was under Keith, too.
It's conservation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Conservation?
Yep, it is. Sorry about that.
And it could have been under one, we buy well equipment.
What's the
well,
claim
gas
number?
2594.
All the time, so.
Well, I just saw that last night, and I didn't notice.
I'm sorry. What is that number? 1787.
Specialty welding?
Is that, Rockman? Todd Rockman?
That could be.
4894 190th Street?
Yep.
I think that's Todd.
Guess I've never called him that when I wrote him a check. It was just a Todd Rockland.
It doesn't say it on here, but I think that's for you.
Any further or more under other business items, gentlemen?
I had a phone call. When was the tornado warnings? Was that Monday night? Tuesday night?
Or Tuesday of last week.
I got a phone call on that, and they couldn't hear it out at the motel and Cenex and stuff. And they asked me if we could put a siren out there. And I told them I would talk to the board about it, being that's in the county, so that'd be ours. I would think we could hook that right up with the cities, couldn't we? I would think, I don't know. So I'm just asking. Or if there's a different way we could alert them out there. I can see why they have a concern.
That might be something to take up with Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Dan can probably speak to that.
I didn't. He sent me up here.
I had to call on that as well, and I have spoken with Dan, and yeah, ultimately we would have to make a decision, but I think it's reasonable to have him research and present to us as emergency management coordinator.
He sent a estimate, I think it was around 14,000.
So who pays for this one on the courthouse grounds? Is that the city or the county or?
It's a city.
System.
They have two of them, right? Or they're just two, sirens.
More than that, I think.
Isn't there one down by the old co-op,
I
Roscoe?
don't know.
There used to be one down there.
Does the county have any sirens?
Where?
I was just wondering with electronics the way it is, are there any other ways to alert them other than a siren?
Well, their phone,
There's
there's
an app
their,
or thing you can sign up for. It's available on the website already.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, if he texts to a certain number, you will get the storm alerts as like a reverse 911 type thing.
And I think that's signs that, like Nick's has on the campgrounds, if anybody's camping, they can,
Those are temporary.
temporary ones, yeah, but if they're camping, they could get the alerts on their phones. But, you know, if you're out of county, I don't know how you would know that without signage somewhere.
I know I'm signed up with KSFY and KELO, and I get alerts from them if there's tornado warnings.
Because with our safety meeting, Dan said that those sirens really aren't meant for
They're not meant for indoor.
indoor stuff, it's just outdoor that people are walking or outside that they know to take cover. Because we had that conversation at our safety meeting. But
I'm not opposed to continuing the conversation. I think it'd be good, but yeah, there are concerns to consider as well, I think.
Dan can't use any of his, Dan can't use E91 monies for any of that
I
for
don't know.
emergency.
I was up at a swearing-in
Oh.
party when he called.
I didn't know, you know, he has all this money sitting there, if he could use some of that or not, but I know it's, all he can use for certain things.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if that was one of them.
So I'll continue talking to him about that. But I told him I'd bring it up, and I'm just surprised I remembered it.
That would be me.
That's all I had.
Any further, or we can consider adjournment until 10?
I
No way.
apologize, sorry.
Don't blame it. I
Never
could
estimate
have
it right.
spoken slower.
And you're right, I could have kept her mouth shut a little bit on that resolution.
Didn't have anybody here to fight with, so it didn't drag out. Or to take 15 minutes running me down. That would have taken time.
I'll make a motion to adjourn
Mr. Schultz?
till 10 o'clock.
Would you want to support that motion for adjournment? Or would you like me as vice chair conducting
Yeah,
the
I'll
meeting to
support
exert my power and adjourn the meeting? Motion by Schulte, support from the board to adjourn the meeting, signify with aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
All right, I got lots of stuff for you to sign.
Yeah, the co-op one as opposed to the FS one.
Yeah, the Scott Energy one.
Yep, that's the co-op
This
one,
is
so the
mine.
FS one we can take out of the packet.
Okay, yep.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Keith.
Sorry?
No, go ahead, I had questions for.
I said
Paul
thank
when
you.
you're done. Just some number stuff from some of the bids and stuff that, I don't know how much information you can give on the Cenex or the, gas.
I don't know,
How much did
You
you?
can give her that, or I can.
I
print
have that in
for
the
you.
pack. Did you get my email that I sent? I have.
It is, oh, if it's in that, then I'll
Yes,
get
it's in the resolutions
The
along
full
with this.
report.
Okay,
This-
okay, then
this
I'm good on
First
that.
page is in that, but,
Okay, but if it's in the email, then I'm good
yeah,
on
but
that
if not,
one.
I can definitely print you out this,
Okay.
whatever would be easier for you. You
As
can-
long as I have it, that's the main thing, if it's on the
It was
email.
it was a summary that I wrote for the board that kind of listed the.
And then just the amount on the grass lighting.
Kind you got there.
Oh, gravel machine, that's right.
That's on, that should be on those.
That's on the
signs,
same
too.
one too,
Yeah,
okay,
but here
sorry, I
it
didn't,
is.
I
No,
didn't,
it's all right.
Yeah, we
I didn't
got a
glance through it very much.
I had one of those, and I have to have one.
Recycling.
Oh, okay, sure.
See which one is.
Yeah, if you're recycling it anyway, I like the paper version versus having to scroll all over
Yep.
it. If it's there, then I'm good. And then, let's see, was there a percentage for the, county, let's see, compensation increase?
Yep, that's on that
Okay.
resolutions that I passed.
Usually, I looked at the front page and saw, I just saw the because it was at the ordinance, it was on the
Chocolate
first
chip?
probably or something.
It could be in the second
like
ordinance,
chocolate
it's
chip.
like 4%, everybody got a 4%
Somebody thinks
raise,
she's
and
gonna
then
have a birthday
Doug, or,
today.
Kevin got 4.67%.
Okay, okay, awesome.
Another year older.
I should read what you sent me instead.
It's up to 29 now, so.
I get it. But if you need, just let me know, but
Okay,
yeah.
this is-
Everybody
I'll
else
test what I
was,
can.
everybody was 4%, but Kevin
And then
was
Kevin,
4.67. Yep.
Give it a little more time.
And all this has to be signed.
Sure. I'll help you celebrate your birthday.
Yeah,
Hey, Keith.
See ya.
can't take them home.
Oh, thank you. You can't take them home?
No,
Okay.
that's what the boss said.
You go out for supper or anything on your birthday, or do anything?
No, for right now.